Hello everyone, thank you very much for clicking on this little tutorial. Well, actually it's going to be quite a long and detailed tutorial. What essentially we're going to do in this tutorial will be to create a scene like this, what you see right now, right in front of you. We will import this car from SketchFab, texture this car here in Unreal Engine, edit this car just a little bit in Blender, or let's just say prepare the car a little bit in Blender, and then come back to Unreal Engine and finally finalize the final scene here, as you see right here, right now. This tutorial is beginner friendly, very beginner friendly, I would say. Right, so each and every single thing that we will be doing, I'll go very nice and slow and I will explain each and every single thing. And if you think that still I missed some things out, no problems, you can write down in the comments below and I will go back and either explain that in the comments or create a new video about it. That's one. Second thing, I already mentioned that we will be going into the Blender and doing a little bit of editing in Blender. Please do not get intimidated when I mention Blender. Full disclaimer, I do not know how to use Blender. I'm a new Blender user by myself as well. I will explain everything so that you can follow along the tutorial. And right at the end, I will also show you how to get a high quality professional automotive rendering picture for your clients, picture that you can present to someone. That's it. That's what we're going to do today. If this gets you excited, if this is something you would like to learn, come along and let's learn it together. All right, let's hop on to SketchFab from here. So here we are in SketchFab. So this is generally where I come and download all of my car models. Well, so far, yeah. So what you would do is, let's just say we'll just write here car downloadable, enter, and you will find a plethora of cars, and probably it might take you an eternity to find the model you're looking for. After an eternity and going through all of these car models, I have settled on very basic, decent Mustang. It's a Mustang Shelby Cobra model. It's a very basic model of the car, 349.3K, let's say triangle. So it's not super heavy and it's not super detailed as well at the same time, but detailed enough. And I've also chosen this model for one basic reason, is that we might face quite a lot of troubles. For example, we see here, these are the, I would say, side reflectors, and they are the same, let's say, texture. So we'll learn how to texture that in Blender. Then you see here the Cobra. For my taste, I would like it to be chrome, and same goes for the front. For my taste, I would like it to be chrome, but here you see it's just black. So essentially with this tutorial, I would like you to learn that if you find these small mistakes, it's okay. Or let's just say these small things that are not matching your, let's say, aesthetics, you can still download the model and we can do, a little bit of tweaking and tinkering with the model and come up with the satisfactory result or something that we want. Download 3D model. FBX original format, that's what we will always go for. We'll never go for converted. The good thing about this FBX original format is that we can easily open this up in Blender as the creator has intended, and we can get the most out of this model. So that's what you want to go for always. Download, it's going to take a while. So here we are in my downloads folder, right click, extract all. Let's have a look what's inside, source, and this is our FBX file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to directly take this file and try and open it up in Unreal Engine. So here we are in Unreal Engine. I'm going to launch and I'll go for games, blank. Let's call this, let's name the project as Mustang _tut. I'm gonna enable ray tracing, and we will be enabling quite a lot of other project, let's say, settings and a couple of plugins as well. All right, so here we are. Right click, import, and where are we? Downloads, source, and this was our model, right? So what I'm going to do is let's just hit reset to default, And there is one thing that we want to be careful of always is if I just drop down this advanced combine meshes, this has to be checked off. I think you guys already know that. That's one. Second, if I go all the way down to materials, it says local, whatever. Here it says do not create materials, because that's the point. We are going to texture this whole model here in Unreal Engine. Import all. It's going to take its time. It's going to give you a bunch of errors. We don't care. Close. So here we are. We have all of these. These are all the static meshes, everything. So what I'm going to do is click one, Control A, so everything else is selected, and just drag and drop into the level. And I'm going to navigate to the car, just as usually I would. And first thing first, you always want to do is inspect the model. If everything is all right, nothing funky is happening. And if I see right off the bat, I don't see the rotor here. What's going on here? If you see here as well, I do not see the rotor. I see some holes, but not the rotor. Let's go all the way back here. And you see, whoa, this is pretty funky and janky, whatever you call it. Essentially, the problem is the normals are flipped. All right. Now, I do not know of a way of flipping these normals here in Unreal Engine. If you guys know it, please just write it down in the comments and let me know. And you guys are going to save me a hell lot of time. But in the meantime, since we don't know that, so this is the reason why we will now jump into the Blender and try and fix this model, or let's just say try and prepare the model for Unreal Engine. So this is the default to you. When you'll open Blender, this is what you're going to see. So we have a camera, a cube, and a light. Three things. You can see here collection and these three things, right? So all we're going to do is just box select all of these, hit the delete key. We don't need them. Now what we're going to do is File, Import, FBX. Well, why FBX? Because we already know that our file is in FBX format. I'm coming to my folder, source, opening the file, default settings. Now here's an interesting or amazing thing. This file comes, or let's just say this model comes rigged, right? So what you see here, these things, these are the bones. Don't worry, we do not need these bones. But before we jump ahead, Blender Navigation 101. So when we are in Blender, this is our model. How do we, let's say, orbit around the model? So we have left click, we have right click, and then we have middle mouse button, right? So if you click middle mouse button, and if you go left and right, you go up and down, that's how you orbit around an object. If you want to pan around an object, you hold Shift key and then middle mouse button, left, right, up, down. You with me? Right. Now, if you want to zoom into an object, once again, middle mouse button. There is one more thing. Let's just say you are somewhere right here and you want to focus on, let's just say, this tire or this wheel. View, frame selected. All right. For example, if we want to orbit around this tire, so we selected view, frame selected, and it will be, and then you can middle mouse button and orbit around this object, right? Easy peasy. All right. And there is a hotkey as well. And the hotkey is the period key. So for example, if I want to go there, period key, and then middle mouse button to orbit around. That's it. Few things what we're going to do that are really going to help us. If I go ahead and delete these guys, since we don't need them, see what's going to happen. We are going to mess up quite a lot of hierarchy here. So we're not going to do that. What we are essentially going to do is we're going to select the whole car. And let's just say, now throughout Blender, if you press the A key, it selects everything. So if I just click away, nothing is selected. A, everything is selected. All right, so I'm going to come over to Object, Apply, Rotation, and Scale. So whatever is the rotation and scale values, that are already applied here to the car, they will be just, let's just say, just applied to the car. That's the best explanation I can come up with. So once you do that, somehow, this is a hack and a crack that I came up with. Like I said, I'm not a Blender user. There might be a better way to get rid of these bones, but that's the way I came up with. So now if you select the bones, now you get rid of all the bones and the car stays intact. Now here we are. Now this is the base form or a normal form of the car as the creator created or intended. Now, but if I see here, I don't see any problems going on with the car. The car looks absolutely fine. So now we need to set up Blender in a way it will tell us or pinpoint the areas or the places where there are errors or problems, right? So here we are. We go all the way up here in this menu. We click this drop down. We click on face orientation, and all of a sudden the car turns blue. If the car turns blue, it means that all the normals, whatever you see in blue, this is a normal view. By normal, I mean the normals of the car. So wherever you see red, it means the normals are flipped. And these are the problem areas. All these areas that you see red right now, they were our problem areas. And I can show you as well. Right here we are in Unreal Engine. And you can see here, both these tires on the right side of the car are inside out. And that's what we see on the right side of the car. These two tires are in red. So that's it. So this is our first job right now, or our first thing to do is to invert or flip the normals. So how you do that? Let's jump right into it. So first thing first, the way I would like to do is that select this tire, Shift H. So it will hide everything else except what you have selected. Everything else is hidden now. Now what I'll do is view frame selected, have it in the middle. To edit anything in Blender, we go right here on the top where it says object mode. I'm gonna hit and go inside edit mode. At the moment I enter in the edit mode, what you see right now, this is everything selected. I'm gonna click away, nothing is selected now. Now, what we essentially need to do is once again select this rotor and flip the normals. But selection is another task. It's another thing, right? So just a little, let's say 101 on how to select or how we can select. We can see right here on the top, this is a vertex. So if you're going to select now, this is how we can select vertices, right? Now what you see next to it is edges or lines, so you can select meshes using edges. And finally, this is, let's say, polygons or faces, right? This is how you select. So we will stay in this, let's say, selection criteria, polygons or faces. Now, another hack or a crack that I have learned, there is a thing called link selection. How that works is if I select this one vertex, and if I go to select linked and linked, and you see it's going to select everything. What I'm going to do now, this is my shortcut. This is what I do. I just bring my mouse around it just to the area that I want to be selected, and I press L, and you see everything is selected. All right, so we got our selection. Now what we're going to do is we'll come right here on the top, mesh, normals, flip. That's it. This tire is done. So right now we are in the edit mode. What we're going to do is click object. Now we're out of editing. Now we have another problem. Where is the rest of the car? Easy peasy. Alt H and everything else is back. Now shift and drag. So shift and mouse, middle mouse click, and zooming in. Once again, I'm going to select this, shift H, everything else gets hidden. I'm going to get this in the view, and I'm going to say hit view, frame selected, or the period key. And another hotkey to go from object to edit, a hotkey is the tab key. If you hit the tab key, you'll enter into the edit mode. I don't need everything to be selected. I'm going to come right in here, hit just my mouse over and hit L. Everything is selected. Mesh, normals, flip. bam, we're done. I'm gonna hit the tab key to get out of the edit mode to object mode. I'm gonna zoom out a bit, Alt H. Here we are. Let's flip around. Ooh, we have quite a lot of stuff here. Once again, Shift, middle mouse button. I'm gonna select this, Shift H. All right, this time I'm gonna do a little bit. Okay, first of all, I'm gonna make it centered, frame selected. All right, this time I'm gonna do a little differently. Once again, I'm gonna hit tab. Everything is selected, yeah? And that's okay, because if I try and go this way and this way and this way, well, there's quite a lot of stuff that I need to select, right? And I'm just hitting L key and it is selecting stuff for me. Right, how about if I just hit A, everything is selected. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to Mesh, Normals, and I'll hit Flip. Now, everything is fine except our rotor. And now we already know how to fix that rotor, right? I'm going to select that. Once again, I'm going to move my mouse over it. L key, everything is selected. Mesh, Normals, Flip. We're good. Tab key, we're out, we're good. Now, once again, the people who do use or who know how to use Blender, they really might be making fun of me or laughing at me right now. But hey, all of this I have learned through, trial and error, watching a few of the tutorials. Right, so here we are. We are selecting now our brick caliper, and we can see that that's red as well. So we need to fix that as well. So I don't need to, isolate it. So what I can do is hit the tab key or object, edit. I can see it's selected, but I'm just gonna click away and hit A. Everything is selected. Mesh, Normals, Flip, bam. Tab key, we're out of the edit mode. This tire or this wheel is done. Shift, middle mouse, I'm gonna go all the way back. Select this one. Tab key, everything is selected. I'm still gonna press A. I'm pressing A, everything is selected. Mesh, Normals, Flip. All right, click away. Now I'm gonna just move my mouse over to the brake rotor, hitting the L key, everything is selected. Mesh, Normals, Flip, bam, click away, hit the tab key or edit, object mode, we're out of editing. Once again, I'm gonna select the brake caliper, hit the tab key, we're in edit, everything is selected, but just to be sure, I'm gonna click away. A, everything is selected, mesh, normal, flip, bam, and tab key. We are good. So here it is. Our car now seems to be ready and good to go. Oh, right here, I see a bit of a problem area, I would say. So I'm gonna click on it, and once again hit tab. All right. I'm going to click away. So what I will do is somewhere right here, I'm going to keep my mouse here, L. So once again, I came out to know about this with a bit of trying before recording this tutorial. I did download this car and played around with this car, so I know what are the areas. If I come over to this side, again, L, moving my mouse over, L, all selected, mesh, Normals, Flip. Now, if you look around, you might be thinking that, hey, I do see a bit of red areas as well. Now, this is the bottom part of it, right? But if I go right under it, so this is the inside part. The inside part or the other side can be red, but what we're seeing should not be red. For example, now let me give you an example. If I just zoom into the car, and if I show you, if you see the windscreen right here is red, the mirror is red, that's okay. Because the other side, this side is blue, and that's exactly what we want. The inside is red, that's absolutely okay. So here we are, the car looks okay and ready. Oh, this tells me that I'm still in the edit mode, right? So hit the tab key or edit object, and we are out of editing. All right, so here we are. So the car is ready now. What I'm going to do is A, everything is selected, File, Export, FBX, and I'm just going to go to the downloads folder, the same folder, and right here I'm going to name it, let's say Mustang_UE, if that makes sense. And I'm just going to export. So let's start from the top. Path, this is a path. It's asking a path for the materials. We don't care. We're not taking any material. Badge mode, I don't know what it is, and let's leave it off. Now, what are we going to include? Include selected objects, mesh. That's pretty much what it is. Right, so include is done. Transform. Here, forward will always be X. If you're exporting this for Unreal Engine, up will always be Z up. All right. Geometry, we always use face here. In armature right now, we just deleted the armature, so anyways, it should not matter, and bake animation should not matter, there is no animation. Anyhow, export. What I'm going to do now here in Unreal Engine, I'm going to select everything, delete. Force delete, that's okay. Now, a bit of housework. Let's go inside content. Let's create a folder, and I'm going to call it car. Yeah, easy. Right click, import, and this is my model, Mustang_UE. Reset to defaults and combine meshes. Make sure it is unchecked. All the way down, create new, do not create materials. Import textures, we don't have anything anyway. Import, should be fairly quick. Yeah, all right, cancel out. So that's one. Now, the second thing is I want to create, I'm going to come out of here. I don't want to create my own level. So I'm just going to create level. I'm going to call it Raj and double click. I will say don't save. Before I jump in, there are a couple of project settings and couple of, let's say, plugins that I want to enable. Plugins that I always enable is HDRI backdrop that I always use, and it requires a restart. We will restart render or movie render queue right here. All right, it will also require a restart. So these are the two plugins we want. Now I will come edit, project settings. So the first thing is clear coat. So clear coat enables second normal. We always check that. G buffer. Once again, these things are really important for cars and car paints. High precision normals. Check that. Let's go to ray tracing, and I generally enable this, and yeah, turn them, why not? Clip. So this is when you get really near to the car, it starts clipping and the camera goes inside the car. So this is the clipping if you take it from 10 to 1, so you can get even closer to the car before the camera goes inside the car. All right, so that's what it is. I'm going to close and I'm going to restart, and now I'm going to save selected. Back, I'm going to double click on my garage, and the first thing that I'm going to create here is my HDRI backdrop. Here we go, HDRI, click, drag and drop. All right. First thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way here to location, and I'm going to hit this so that it's zeroed out. So we are starting here. So that whenever I create a HDRI backdrop, so first thing first, you may be asking, why am I creating an HDRI backdrop and why am I lighting my scene up? So my, let's say, preferred way would be to start with an HDRI backdrop because you get a beautiful sky already and an environment, and this is the best or one of the best ways to light up. Now you'll see when I'll bring the car in here, it will be so evenly lit up, right? That's what I really like. This is one. And second thing is I've seen all the professionals and I've seen a lot of studios use this method as well, using both HDRI backdrop with the sun environment and post-process volume and everything, and we'll use all of that. So the first thing I'll do here is The size, it depends upon how big your environment is. Right now we don't have any environment, it's just the HRI backdrop. I'll just make it 1000, more than enough. Now the second thing I'll try to quickly fix is, if you see here, if you see this area right here, if you see how it's deforming and it's the log is not staying, well, this is because of a thing called projection center Z value. So right now it's 1700. I don't know if I'll take it to, I don't know, 1000, anything above 700. And now if I move, if you see it's sticking in its place, and it's much better. So this is more than enough for our need. Now I'm gonna go inside the car, click, Control A, everything is selected, drop the car here. And what I'm going to do now is just drop it on the floor, like so. And right now the snapping is on, so I'm going to turn off all of the snappings. Don't need that. And bingo, the car is grounded. Let's just have a look. Not perfectly, but yeah, so this is something about right. Real quick, now let's have a look, and we see things look about right. Yeah, I'm quickly going over all around the car and seeing how it looks like. Just one thing, we're not doing anything to inside of the car, or let's say the interior of the car, but whatever we will be doing to the exterior of the car, that should be a basis enough for you to let's just say texture the interior of the car as well. So how or what materials or textures we're going to use? Good question. We're going back to our, not from here, Epic Games, Marketplace, or actually I already have it down here, automotive material. But anyways, if you go to Marketplace, if you search right here, automotive material, just hit enter, you'll find this one, the one with Epic Games. So this is the one published by Epic Games. That's the one you want. Add to projects, and it will say you do not have any projects, so show all projects. The project that we are working on is Mustang Tut, and it says that it's not compatible. We can choose the latest one. For example, the latest one it has is 5.1. That's okay, we select that, add to project, and minimize, and you can see right here we have the automotive material. So for example, if I go to all, go inside the content, and you can see here automotive material. In the automotive material, we'll come to materials, we'll go to exterior, right? We are going to texture the exterior, so that makes sense. And before we do that, I want to quickly select, I like a bit of housekeeping, all of these different static meshes. If you click right here, it will select all the static meshes and put them in a folder. Let's call it car. All right, I have HDRI backdrop. I'm gonna call that, let's say, lighting. All right, so now we're going to go inside car paint, and these are, I'm gonna make it a bit smaller. So if I click on the front bumper, and you see the whole bumper, this whole piece is selected. And if you look on the right hand side, the general properties, you see this bumper has 4 slots of material, which means this bumper can take in 4 materials. Now, we generally don't know. These are, let's say, set by the creator of the car, right? So let's have a look and let's see what we got in here. So for example, there are 2 ways to texture it. I can take this, let's say we're texturing it blue. I'll take this blue and I'll just drag and drop. And now I can see this blue is actually attached to element number 2, which is the 3rd one. Okay, now I want this to be, let's say, a metal. If I go back, metal, and I'm gonna take, let's say, this painted metal, and I'm gonna drag and drop it right there. And if you see, it has covered quite a lot of it. Now we have 2 more slots left, and well, before going over to the 2 more slots, I see this one is still left and this is still part. You see here, this as well. And I know what I want to do with it. I want to go to reflector and I'm going to take like, I don't know, orange. And I'm going to drag and drop it here. And you see it sets somewhere here. It's the first one. Right, now I know. And the last one, I don't know what it is, the last one. So generally what I would do is I would just take any material and, you know, test it out. So for example, the easiest way for me to find what material it is, because sometimes it is a part that is kind of hidden. So I will apply a light. So this is a light. And if I just select it here and select it here, oh, I see. So it's this GT500. So I don't know, it's totally up to us what we see. What I would do is take this. If you do shift, right click, and keep holding shift and left click, this is how you copy and paste material. All right, so here we are. We have, so what I've essentially done is I've taken the car paint material and applied it here. Here is a little part, and this is what I said right when we were selecting this car as well, that for my taste, for my liking, what I would like, at least I want this, this Cobra, I want this to be a separate material. And right now we see we cannot, because this whole thing is part of this black material. And there are only 4 that it's accepting. So this is one thing, or this is the next thing, and that I would like to show you and teach you how can be done or achieved in Blender, of course, not here in Unreal Engine. Hop into Blender. First thing first, I'm gonna select the bumper. This is how I like to do things. You don't have to, but I'm just gonna isolate it. So Shift H. Now we have the bumper. All right, and then I'm gonna select the bumper, View, Frame selected. All right, so it's right somewhere in the center, and I'm gonna scroll my mouse wheel to zoom in and mouse click to, you know, orbit around, middle mouse click to orbit around. All right, so what I want to do essentially is to give this guy, this Cobra, a different material. All right, so first of all, we'll enter into edit mode. I can hit the tab key as well. And I would essentially select this Cobra. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more. Shift, middle mouse button to bring it in view, orbit, shift mouse button to pan on it. All right, so to select, you know my shortcut, I'm just going to move my mouse over it. I'm not clicking, just moving my mouse over it and pressing the L key. L, 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 L. So keep pressing it until I have it all selected. I mean, that's the easiest way that I could find. And once again, I'm pretty sure a lot of you Blender folks would be laughing at me at this moment. It's just lack of my Blender knowledge probably. But this is a hack or a crack I could come up with without learning Blender, I would say. All right, so again, what I'm doing is I'm just pressing L key. All right, and seems like I've almost got it selected. I'm just moving my mouse and pressing L key continuously wherever my mouse is moving. I'm just ramming on my L key, L, L, L. So right now, first step is to select the object that we want. All right, we got it selected pretty much. What I'm going to do next is if we come down here on our selection, if we come all the way down here, material, select the material. And what I'm going to do is first thing first, click on this plus sign, add material slot. And just to bring your attention right here, you see here 1, 2, 3, 4 slots here. And if I quickly jump over to Unreal Engine, 1, 2, 3, 4. Aha, now we know. So I'm going to jump back here, create another slot, press this button, new, done. We have created a new material. I'm going to name it right here and probably name it, I don't know, logo? Can't think of a better name. That's it. And one thing you want to be sure, when it says surface here, it should be principal BSDF. I don't know, but whatever it is, just keep it at BSDF. We're not assigning any material here. We're just selecting this, because when this comes to Unreal Engine, it translates correctly. So we have that already there. We didn't do anything with that. The last step is assign. Very, very important. Assign. Now you have assigned this logo, which is an empty material, to this Shelby logo. While we are at it, why don't we select and give this a grill material as well? How about that? And I'm going to select this part, perfect, and select this part. So my selection is done, and I want this to be a grill. Same thing, plus, new, I'm going to call this grill, G-R-I-L-L, if I can spell it. Enter, and very important last step, assign. Bam, done. All right, so this front part is done. What I'm going to do now is from edit mode, object mode, and once again, if you see now, we had 1, 2, 3 already there, starting from here, 1, 2, 3, 4 already there until orange. Logo grill are the 2 ones we added. Unhide rest of the car, and yes, we are going to export it as an FBX one more time. You are somewhere in the middle of texturing your car. Well, we have to texture it all over again. All right, so what I'm going to do is I found out while I was playing with this car, I want this little part, this part that I'm selecting here, to be a red light as well, but I found out that it was not. So what I'm going to do is quickly edit this just for my taste, just for my liking. I'm going to select this little part, and just as I always do it, I'm going to come here, I'm going to create a new material, say new, call it, I don't know, light. It actually really doesn't really matter, whatever you name it. Hit enter, assign. All right, that's one thing that was bothering me while I was, and I don't know, for taste, aesthetics, and let's get out of edit mode. Okay, and this little guy, this little light, I don't know, it's just bothering me, and I would like to do it a different material as well. So once again, hit tab or enter edit mode. Okay, now we're editing this bumper. I'm gonna go over there, hit L, and just to make sure if everything is selected, and everything is selected, plus new, I'm gonna call it, I don't know, reflector. Like I said, the naming doesn't really matter. It's only a housekeeping here in Blender. On Unreal Engine, you might not even see it. Last step, assign. And that's it, voila. I'm gonna hit the tab key this time to get out of editing. I am not sure if I could remember anything else that I would like to edit. I don't know. Maybe these can be grills as well. Yeah, why not? Okay, so let's go back to our bumper again. Enter, and what I'm going to do is L, and all I want to do is assign grill to it. Assign, because I've already created grill material, but here we see that it's assigned a different material. So what's going to happen now? Whenever I will assign grill material to these guys, this will also get the same material. That's what's going to happen. All right, I'm going to hit tab to get out of it. All right, bring it right in the middle. I'm going to hit A, select everything, file, export, FBX. Let's start from top. I don't care about the path and off. Selected objects, yes. Mesh is correct. This is off. Once again, forward is always X. Z up. Geometry, face, and armature and bake animations. I always turn these off. Mustang UE, and yes, I'm gonna overwrite it. Back to Unreal Engine. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go to my content. Here's my car. I'm gonna select everything. Control A, delete. All right, but you see here the references are right here on the side as well. So I'm going to select from here as well and shift select everything, delete. Right click, import Mustang UE, reset to default, combine meshes. I'm just checking that. All right, it always do not uncheck import textures, import all. All right, I'm gonna hit close, click, Control A, and bring our lovely car into the scene. While it is selected, or while everything is selected, I'm just gonna first thing first, bit of housekeeping, move it to the car, go ahead and test. First thing first, I'm gonna click here and see, woo, we got more. Now remember we made a grill material as well. That's what I wanna test. So let's go back up, automotive, materials, exterior. Let's first go to the car paint and let's say we are using the blue material. Bam, blue. All right, back, metal. So this material here, this is provided by Unreal Engine. Thank you guys. It is already a grill material. So I'm just gonna click, drop, and voila, we see a grill here. I don't know if you guys like it or not, but I don't know. I kind of like it, to be very honest. Chrome, so I'm going to use this M Metal Chrome 1. Click. You can assign it right here as well, but I don't know which material it is, so it's just easy and visual. Drag and drop. All right, and the same goes for this as well. I'm going to choose metal painted. Here it is, how to change a material. If you just double click on a material, and right here you will have all of these closed probably. If you go to base color, and if you click on tint, this color, this is what the color is actually. So you can make it brighter, you can make it darker. So by default, it was something like this. And what I did was made it darker by bringing it down. Okay. And if you close it, it will update automatically. What about these guys? Now these guys, what I did was, it was this material. I think I created myself. I'm just going to delete it and create it once again right in front of you guys. So keep this material, right click, duplicate, and I'm gonna call it just matte. So if you'll see mostly the bumpers, they're not that shiny, right? So they're a bit matte. So just, looking lack of a better name. So I'm just gonna call it MI Metal Matte. That's one. The one thing, okay, let's apply it first so we can see the difference. So if you see here, it's very shiny, and these bumpers are generally not this shiny. So where is the shine coming from? It's right from here, roughness, and it says roughness max, which is 0.25. So for example, if I say 0, it will be 100% shiny. And if I say 1, it will be a very rough material, right? So we don't want that. We want something in the middle. I want this to be a bit reflective or shiny, but not that much. So let's go and do it somewhere around, I don't know, 0.65 or I don't know, maybe 0.5. Yeah, so it's somewhere in the middle. It is shiny and not that shiny at the same time. Another thing is that sometimes the materials might have some impurities, or I would say some imperfections. For example, fingerprints, if you add that, if you add dust, and if you start enabling them, and you see here on the material, I mean, in real life, you would have all of these, right? So just so you know that you have these kind of options, you can turn these off or turn these on to your liking. All right, another thing that I would like to mention here, if you see these white flakes, these are called flakes on our car material. So let's get out of this. And if you think that this is bothering you or this is too much, I think it's a bit too much. I'm gonna real quick get inside. These are called flakes, and use flakes, and this is the flake orientation and then flake density. I'm going to turn it on, and if I go, let's say 1, it gets too much, and if I say 0.1, a little less, 0.05, 0.01. So I'm just decreasing them in intensity. That's all I'm doing. All right, that's pretty much it. And another thing is a thing called orange peel. If you look here, the reflection, and once again, orange peel size right now, it's 8. And if just look how this reflection changes, if I make it to, let's say 15. So see, it gets smaller, it gets more smoother. If I make it 50, much smoother. But okay, let me make my navigation smaller. But if you see in real life, we do have these kind of flicks. So by default, it was 8. Now let me go back to 8. And if you see here, it is much more real life like, but once again, it depends on your taste, how you like it. But a real paint would have these kind of little dents and all, right? And if you think that no, you want your car to be very plasticky and porcelain look, then completely turn this off, right? And all of it just goes away. But once again, this is a bit more realistic. What I like, I don't like 8, but 15 might do. Yeah, this is a bit more realistic. That's it. All right, so this is how you would, just FYI, this is how you would edit a material if you would like to. All right, we're gonna cancel out of it. All the changes we did are actually saved, don't worry about that. Now this guy left, I'm gonna go back, reflector, I'm gonna apply this material to it. All right, so now if you see on the right hand side, so right now it looks like our front part, I'm gonna make it faster, front part is complete. But if we look right over here, element 3 is still left. And I really have no idea what element 3 is. So one way to look at it is if I just double click right here, it says static mesh, double click. And if I go over here to element and make it a little bigger, this is everything. This is, I'm gonna speed down, all right? This is everything what we were, let's say, texturing. So if I click on element 3 highlight, so element 3 was GT500 and isolate. So it will show us, we will have a better view of what it is, what we are going to texture if you just don't understand what it is. So this is one way. And while I'm at it, there's another thing that I would like to show you is that if we see here, I opened the static mesh and it is not textured here, right? And this is one of the biggest things. So for example, you have created this car right here in this level. Now, if you take this car and put it into another level within this project, this car will be translated. This car will come over as untextured, right? So whatever we are doing right now, right here, texturing the car this way, it is just textured right here in this level, in this view. If you take this car to another project, let's say you're working on another project and you want this Mustang to be like a second or a third car at the background, it will come over as untextured. Why? Because if I open this up right here, this here is completely untextured, right? So what I generally would do would be like texture my car right like this, the way we're doing right now. For example, car paint, and I'll just keep texturing the car however I like. Once, let's say you're done texturing your car 100%. Well, I know this is very tedious and I'm telling you a very bad way and I don't know of a smart way, but this is how it is. But this is the quickest way that I came up with, is that what I'm going to do is then you go one by one to every, let's say, part or a static mesh, open it, put it right here and shift, keep holding shift, right click, left click, right click, left click, right click, left click, right, left, and there you go. Very quickly you have actually textured your car, right? It's just copy and paste. And there is one very important setting that I would like to turn on. If you come all the way down to LOD0, build settings, and use high precision tangent basis, this must be turned on. Apply changes, that's it. This will again enhance the reflections on your car. All right, so I would want you to do that for each and every static mesh. I'm not going to do it right now, right in front of you, because it will take a lot of time, but this is something that you would or you should know for every car that you're going to do. And now if you see our static mesh, it shows here textured, but if I go anywhere else, it's not textured, right? For example, if I select this door has 3 slots, but if I open this up, it is not textured, but we have it textured, right? So this is what you would do. You will open it up and shift, right click here, shift, left click here, and we see that the door is textured. And while we're at it, one more time, use high precision tangents, apply changes. All right, that's it. So now let's quickly go ahead and finish off our texturing. Bam. Bam, nothing more to it, no rocket science here. We're just dragging and dropping. And of course, this is a much easier, quicker, better way of doing things, I would say, right? Okay, let's come right here, and I don't know, let's do the painted one. Painted one was reflective. Oh, we should have done that, or I mean, I completely forgot. We could have this top part to be a paint color, the bottom part to be the black color that it is right now, and this middle part could have been, oh no, it has it. So we're gonna apply a reflector material to it. Amazing, looks nice. So, well, if I were you and if I was presenting this car for a project, I would actually go ahead and change it in Blender as well, just the way I showed you. Have this as a black different material, has this as a different material. And you might be going against the aesthetics of the car. Maybe a real car is not like that, but then who cares, man? This is our car, this is our model, and this is how we would like to, let's say, paint it. So there are no boundaries. You do what you like. All right, so I'm real quick. I'm just trying to drag and drop, no rocket science, drag and drop, drag and drop. And once again, chrome here as well. And the matte one, this is the matte one. I'm going to apply this here. Aha, and this was the one. And I would like it to be, once again, it's totally up to you. I would like it to be this reflector, and we have to paint this as well. Metal. All right, and all right, so lights. Paint it right here. Here. All right, so forgot this guy. Done. Let's get these guys. Then I'm gonna do it the matte one, not the shiny one. This is the matte one, yeah. Matte one, and I'm gonna do this matte as well. I'm gonna do this little part shiny, and there is another part, I don't care, I'm gonna do this shiny as well. All right, and now jumping off to glass, and what I would like to do is MI glass windshield tinted. Here we are, tinted. This guy tinted as well. And we'll get to that. And car paint, throw car paint here as well. All right, and if you remember, I changed this color here as well a bit. And all right, and I'm gonna make it lights, just this red color, which is like a cover. Or how about this guy? All right, and metal, this black, if that makes sense. Or you know what, let it be light shining. Let's give it light. Change my mind. This, so the lights are on and they're all shining at the same time. All right, I see here, we go back, metal, and this material right here, MI mirror, we throw that on. MI mirror. All right, this guy was not given as well. Give it black. Let's come down to our tires, rubber. So let's quickly finish off all the rubber. Rubber. All right, and what do we have next? What I'm gonna do, what I'm thinking is, with these guys, let's go back. And yeah, this whole is one piece. After that, I'm gonna go to metal. And I don't know, let's try some metal materials. For example, if I throw this on, and it has a lot of imperfections, as you guys can see. And by the way, this rubber has also a lot of imperfections. And if you don't like them, you can take them off. And yeah, why not? Let's do that. Rubber, this is what I applied. Double click. Put it right here, make it smaller. Go all the way to imperfections, take all of this off, but we still see some imperfections, right? All right, these are because of the roughness map. And if I remove this, you see it becomes nice, clean, spick and span, right? So if you want some of this, good. What you can also do is, let's just say if you think this is too clean, go to imperfections, maybe add some fingerprints. Yeah, rubber would have some of that. See, some of that. And maybe dust. So anyhow, it's up to you. Let's keep it spick and span and clean for our purposes for now. Okay, close, it's saved, don't worry. And for these guys, yeah, I do like it. It's not very shiny, but for our purposes, it will look nice. So the only thing I'm gonna do is, there's a material, I can open it from here as well. I'm gonna take out this roughness map. I'm gonna take it off. Let's see what's happening. Just the maximum. And I don't see any imperfections here. Okay, so we have a normal map applied here as well. Let's remove that as well, and let's see what happens. If I just remove this guy, and you see right here we have a nice, clean, chic, without imperfection. Why I'm so much for this is because I like this color, and for our purposes, like a studio environment, this will really stand out. You'll see. All right, I'm gonna close it off, and these guys I can metal, I don't know, maybe this one makes sense. Yeah, and now we're going back to the rotor, so the rim is done. Going back to brake rotor, and I don't know, let's pick something up and apply. And for our brake caliper, well, pick and choose anything. For example, blue, and you want to match this blue to that blue. Clearly it's pretty off, so let's go down in here and try and match. I don't know. Does this look right? Kinda. Yeah, that can work. And close it off. So now, all right, so this guy has a different, okay, it is already assigned. So we're good. Moving on. Now we know what to do. Should be real quick. Back, brake, and apply this guy here. Back, metal, gonna apply this, and it has a little plus sign which shows that I have used this already. I'm gonna take matte, apply this here. And what else? Yeah, looks like we're good. Just looking for this. Yeah, it has a material. All right. Other side. Black. Matte. Caliper. Oops. Control Z. Rotor. And apply this guy. All right, we're good. Next one. Bam. Bam. Metal. Matte here. Shiny here. All right, so pretty much, oh, we didn't apply the material here. So what I'm gonna do is just shift, right click, shift, left click, and it gets this material. Lights, and I take something from here, transparent cover, apply that, okay, and then I will just hide it for now. And let's go inside. Take this, it has 3 slots. So I'm gonna go back out metal. I'm gonna use the matte one. Bam, done. The second is the lights. We see here, these are the lights. So we know what we're gonna apply. Light, white, drag and drop, we get the light. But if you see, there is a third material right here as well, and which is this one. Yeah, it's hard to see, but very easy to miss, right? So that's why it's a very good option to keep looking on your right hand side at the material slots. So we're going to metal. I'm just going to choose chrome. And if you also notice that I'm using the same materials over and over again, I have not used like a million materials or a different material for each part of the car. I'm just reusing these materials over and over again for a good reason, which is to keep the rendering times low. That's my only reason. Right, so let's go back. Lights. This glass works better with ray tracing. That's why I like to use that. Hide. And let's give a light. Let's go back. Metal. I'm gonna use a matte one for this. Kind of matte one. It's not really matte. And chrome. Select. And it's difficult to go there and select and see, so I'm just gonna apply it like this. All right, it doesn't even show, I think. So the car has quite a lot of inconsistencies. If you see right now, it's not showing here. So if you are really finicky about it, you can go to the Blender and fix it. But what else you can do is that when you're creating your hero shots, just don't use this part and maybe use this light where you can see a bit of chrome. So once again, you didn't model this car, so you got this car, and you know it will come with a bit of inconsistencies. That's pretty normal. All right, so we have our kind of car right here, and we don't see the best view right now because if you see, I have scalability to medium. If I go to cinematic, so we'll have a better view right now, and we can see the reflections on the car. I don't know if you notice or not, the reflection on the car got better. We were having this view before, and now we're having this view. It's a bit better view, and if you see now, the rim looks pretty nice. And if you see the lighting all over the car, everywhere is pretty consistent. Yeah, this is one of the reasons why I use HDRI backdrop. Anyhow, so this is not what we were here for. What we were here for is a garage look. So in a nutshell, I think so. I'm just taking a look if anything is left or missed or not, or we're good to go. So now it's time to prepare our car or just create our garage scene to give it that eye candy garage look. Not a garage per se, but a studio. Click, plane. I'm gonna create a plane. Not place. Plane. Right here, drop it at 0, 0, 0, and gonna make it, not sure where it went. There it is. This is our 0, 0, 0. And I'm gonna close this, make it kind of like 50, that big. Don't worry, right now it's intersecting. I'm gonna make my speed a little faster. It's intersecting right now. That's okay. We are not going to use our HDR backdrop. I'm gonna later, I'm going to hide it anyway when we will have our lighting in the scene. Take it up, create the roof. All right, and I want this to be inverted. All right, let's go unlit. I'm gonna create this, and I'm rotating it 90 degrees. Here, space bar, bring it somewhere here. Go to left, zoom out so I can make it smaller. Make it something like this. Copy Alt, and then move it all the way here. But then I have to go in perspective and move it this way. Something like this, so 180. Going to take this up, space, copy, rotate it this way, move it all the way back Let's go front for now. So again, it's too big, so I'm gonna make it smaller. So essentially what I'm doing is just making 4 walls. Alt, copy here, perspective, and I just need to rotate it this way. So I get the value 180, and that's it. Now what I need to do is, let's go all the way to the top. I'm gonna select my car, okay? And let's put all these planes, create a folder, call it Studio. Right click and select all descendants. So the whole car and everything is selected, space, move it. I'm gonna place it right here in the center. That's what I wanted. Left view. I wanted it something like this. All right, we're good. That's it. So here we are now. Go to lit mode. It's absolute darkness. Yeah, because we don't have any light. I'm gonna go here, rectangle or light. That's what we're going to use. Rectangle light. Place it right here. And what I want this light to be upside down this way. So 90 this way. And it is, oops, this is the light. I want it to be centered. I want it to be, let's say, 20 light now, because we need light. This is going to be our ambient light. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way to the top. Not this, right click, move, and I'm going to make this light, not this, sorry. So the source width, which is the light width, source height, so it locks to 1000, 1000, but if I will write, let's say 2500 or 3000 by 3000, that's how big I want my light to be, because this is an ambient light, and I want to see, go to the left view, and yeah, I want it to be somewhere around here. Okay. Let's go back to our perspective. Engine is adjusting the light for us, and we don't want that. Create a folder for this. Okay, let's keep it 2000. That's okay. Now, second thing that I wanted to do is now create a post process volume. And unbound. So that this post process volume should not just affect the box, but the whole scene. That's why we do that. This is the first thing you'll always do whenever you create a post process volume. That's the first thing you do. All right. Now, one thing that I want to do here is go all the way to exposure and have a manual exposure. This, and let's increase exposure to 10 something. And let's go to somewhere around 15. This is what we were looking. Yeah, this is what we had. So I don't want to, I want this to be exactly how it was. And now I will just decrease it. I guess this is too much. This is ambient light. We don't want this to be this bright. So let's take it down. 10. This is 1. And oh, we also had this barn door angles. So barn door is, that's how much focused you want the light to be. I don't want this light to be very, very focused. That's why I can have this barn doors to be, I don't know, 45. And the length of the door, like how long the door is, yeah. So I don't want it to be very long, it's fine. Tiny little is fine. So this is 1. Second thing is that I want this light to be not this bright. My intention with this light is to be just a very light, very little, what do you call it, accent. And I want this light to be blue, something along the lines of this kind of blue. All right, okay, looks okay to me, but for my taste, it is still a bit too bright. And let's go down all the way to probably 1. Okay, yeah, all we want is just the accent. all over the room. We want a dark room. Now, if we go from lit to path tracing, this is what it looks like, right? Now, once again, this is going to be a big debate between path tracing and lumen. So if I click here and go lit, this is what we see in the lumen. Okay, so we got the colors updated right here, and that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted just a bit of accent all over the environment. Okay, this is what we're seeing. This is all I wanted, this dark. I wanted this scene to be this dark because this is just an accent ambient light. One thing we're missing that I would like is fog. So a little hint of fog. Fog is something, less is more. So I'm going to do the same thing. This is an important step to see fog in Path Tracer. Do it, make it 0. The location should be 0. And for my taste, now this is not a must, but this is just for my taste. I like it to be a little higher, kind of like 1000 on the Z, or I guess it's too much, 500 on the Z, somewhere along the lines of 1000 to 2000. And now we have to go and turn on volumetric fog. And what I like to do is the viewing distance, I increase it to 10,000. I've just experimented with this number, and this number looks better in especially path tracing. Now, if you go up here now, and if I see, let's say 0.1. All right, and if I say, let's say 1, we start seeing fog in the scene. And especially, let's keep it just here. And if I go path tracing, and you will see quite a lot of fog in path tracing as well. Okay. The only downside of this fog is that because our light source is right here, it will also show that the light coming from here. So we don't want that. So I'm not going to make it this dense, maybe something along the lines of 0.1. Yeah. And I'm going to go back to lit. Okay, and now, so this is the car, this is our base scene. This is just to give the accent into the environment. And this is just right now blue. You can have multiple colors here as well, but I want to keep it as simple as possible. All right, one light done. And I'm going to take these two and I'm going to put them into the lighting, right? HDRI backdrop, probably we can leave it unhided. We can even delete it at this time as well. I'm going to take this rec light and I'm going to Alt and drag it all the way down, copy it. I'm going to create another copy, bring it down very close to the car. And now I don't want this light to be 3000 by 3000, maybe 1000 and maybe 500. Now I want this to be essentially is the size of the car. This is the one that will light up our car. Now we're going to do one by one, bit by bit. Now we will lit up our car tastefully. So it is still quite wide for me, for my taste. So which one is it? I'm gonna make it maybe 250. Yeah. And here we are. Now let's go all the way down here and let's start here. Bit somewhere in the middle and somewhere right here. Now if you see here this part, attenuation radius, it's too much. I'm gonna bring it down to 1000, maybe 500. All right, and that's how we will light up our scene. Now this is based on your taste. When I bring it down here, I do like what the light is doing on the top of the car. You see here, it's lighting up this little accent. I do like it, and this is one scene. This is exactly what I want. Now, depending upon you, maybe you don't want how the light is interacting with the environment, with the floor. So what we can do is we can tell the light, or we can, let's say, tell the floor to not accept light from certain channels. Now here is our light. Right now, if I just write here channel, so the light is casting light to channel 0. Now if I tell this light, or if I tell this floor to only accept lights that are from channel 1 and remove channel 0, all of a sudden now this floor is not accepting light from channel 1. But the drawback that has happened is now it is not even accepting our ambient light. No problem. I'm going to go all the way to, this was our ambient light, and I will tell this ambient light to cast lights to channel 0 and to channel 1 as well, and voila, we have our light back to channel 1 as well, which is our floor. Keep in mind, I did not change anything to the other floors, other walls. They're all the same. They're all accepting light from all the lights. I have only changed the light for the floor. I don't want the floor to get the light from all these lights or all the extra lights that I will add. And let's get on it. So first thing first, this is our view. Finally, this is what we came here for. It was pretty simple and easy, yeah? Now if I click on G, and that's it. This is our scene here. And if you see here, a little bit of tinge or hinge of, what do you call it? A light coming right over. If you see here, there's a little bit of, how do you call it? Fog falling over. Once again, depending on your taste, if you think it's great, if you like it, good, bingo. But if you don't like it, if you want to get rid of it, the only hack I have for it is just reduce the intensity of exponential height fog. Now I'm going to take it down to 0.05 maybe. So it's like it's there, but it's not there. Kind of that. Right, so here it is. From here, it's all your taste. From here, it's all you. What do you want to do? You want a light, you want a bit of your, let's say, the bottom part of the car to lit up? Great, okay, let's do that. So what you're going to do, I'm going to hit G, take this light, Alt, copy, rotate, make it 90, oops, 180, oops, I'm so bad at this, God, please help me. All right, 90 was good. All right, so right, oops, now I lost my light. See the problems of my life. All right, let's go back and let's find our lights here. It should be somewhere here inside the car. Okay, what I wanted to do now is rotate it. Bring this barn doors length down. I don't want them to be this big and distracting. And I want this light to cover up what? The front part of my car. Okay, I got you. Gonna make it like this. Like this. Move it right here under the car, somewhere along the lines here. And that's it. Now this is purely art direction, whatever you like to do. Now I think, or I feel that this is way too bright. All right, so what I'm gonna do is bring the intensity down to maybe 0.1. Looks about right. Yeah. So see how it's, you know, the car is lit up right at the angle. So now here it's completely your art direction, how you want it. Now you want a little bit of light coming from this angle. No problem, I got you. So you're going to copy, width, do it this way, and bring it down this way. Just a little bit of an accent. And I think it's pretty big for this. Oops, not this. Nope. This too slow, go down. Bit bigger maybe. No, don't want it to hit the tires, to be very honest. Once again, it depends upon how you want it. At which angle. And that's it, that's the name of the game. So play with another thing, another tip that I can give you is that you see how, oh, so one thing I forgot. For my taste, I will make these lights all white. All white. We do have an accent light, which is the ambient light, but all the other lights, I would like them to be white. Right? And I think these lights are still too bright. 0.05. It's again 0.05. This as per your taste, maybe 0.5. Yeah. So this is what it looks like in Lumen, and hit the G key, lit, path tracing. This is what it looks like in path tracing. So here it is. Now we have successfully know how to create this scene. Okay, that was one part of it. How to render this out? Nope, I don't want you to do a path tracing and then let it render and then take a screenshot. No, that's not the way to do it. So what you need to do is you need to create a level sequence. Create a level sequence right here. Maybe create a new folder, call SEQ for sequence. Call this maybe render. Okay, save. Fine. Now the only thing you need to do is create a camera. A million ways to create a camera. So let's just say whatever you're seeing right now, click here, create a new camera and set it as current camera cut. Well, there you go. We got it. Okay. And the only thing I would like to change on the camera for now would be just put it in focus. Focal length. Yeah. Not focal length. Focus. This guy. So click, drag. So our car is in focus right now. All right. That's one. And that's it. That's really all you need. And right now, if you see that the camera is spawnable, right? So you can convert it to possessable, and you can see that camera in the view as well. For example, if I convert to possessable, and if I close this, and right now we have, if I go here, camera, and right now I can pilot the camera in my view. Yeah. So let's say this is the final scene that we're going for. How to render this out? I'm glad you asked. Click here, and what you essentially want to do is, if you're going to render this out as one frame, let's say for path tracing, and you want this to be, if JPEG, so JPEG is fine. You can also have, you have a choice between BMP, EXR, PNG, and JPEG. EXR is the highest quality. You can open EXR in Photoshop. You can open EXR in any other editing software as well. But for our purposes, let's just go, I don't know, PNG. PNG is 8-bit, okay? Or JPEG, whatever, I don't care. So it's your choice. Deferred rendering means Lumen rendering. But if you add here and add path tracer, it's path tracing. So I'm going to turn off deferred rendering. Now, the only thing I'm going to add here is anti-aliasing. And most of the professionals would use 32 by 32. But again, this is not a class on rendering. I'm just going with the base settings, with the most common settings. And if you click on game overrides, these are like all the high class, high settings. It will just automatically default to high settings, right? But once again, we can go a bit deeper into this as well. And I do have quite a lot of console variables of my own as well. And maybe at a later lesson, I can show you how you can fix them up. Please let me know down in the comments. Now let's go to the output. This is where you will tell where you want this to be saved. This is one. And second, which resolution you want this to be. And the third, this is how you will tell it. You just want to render one frame. So use a custom playback range and anything 0 to 1. That's it. Or maybe you are using, I don't know, frame from 15 to 16. In our case, we don't have any animation. We just have a camera in our movie render queue. So it will just go and render out frame number 15 and 16 or 0 or 1, whatever. And that's it. You click there, and you click accept, and then you click render local, and it will start rendering the scene up. All right, so here I see it is rendering our HDRI backdrop as well. So what we can do is quickly cancel this out, put it down, and right here our HDRI backdrop, let's just delete it. Okay, once again, render, click here just to see the settings. It all looks good, except render local. And here we are, and it will take its time and give us a final render. All right.